Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor, bringing you another video on how to raise your vibration so you can live your best life. Let's talk today about sensitive versus empath. But before we do, I want to let you know doors are opening to our New Earth Construction Team community on 11/11. I am so excited. Today is November 2nd. So we've only got 9 days left until the doors open. I'm so excited. And I want to welcome you into the community. If you are looking for your purpose, if you are looking to manifest abundance and you struggle with whatever blocks they might be, it might be a lack mentality or limiting beliefs. It might be complex trauma, whatever it is. If you have that knowing in your brain, I'm supposed to be doing something important, something that matters, but you can't quite get yourself to do it because something in your subconscious keeps you from moving through that glass ceiling, keeps you from shining bright and letting the world see your light, then I have a process for you that will help you heal the wounds that hide in your subconscious brain and in your body so that you can step into your purpose and manifest abundance through that. And so know that we are the shift. We are the ones who are going to create heaven on earth. It is up to us. And so if you want to be part of the New Earth Construction Team, then come join us. I have a success path all laid out for you. I can do something called brain spotting, where we heal the traumas that hold you back and relieve you of the oversensitivity and the desire for control, the desire to hide, all of these subconscious behaviors that are hallmarks of complex trauma that seem to hold us back, seem to be difficult for us to remove or break through. They are not impossible. I have solved this problem for many. I should say, I have taught others how to solve this problem for themselves. It can work for you. It works for everyone. It is phenomenally, shockingly, amazingly effective. It worked for me, and I know it will work for you. So come join us. We can help you heal the blocks that hold you back in very little time, surprisingly, not to mention joining a community who is all driven towards the same purpose as you. Purpose-driven entrepreneurs are my favorite people. I love to hold a safe space for you and help create that necessary safe space where you can heal, become whole and complete again, and shine brightly with zero concern of how uncomfortable it makes others feel. So come join us. Drop me a comment below, send me an email. That's email address is in the about section, and we will join together. We will join forces. We are going to create the most beautiful environment you have ever seen, I assure you. So I will see you on the flip side. All right, so let's talk about sensitive versus empath. This is one of my favorite conversations because I am highly sensitive and also an empath. And so I will preface the conversation by saying I'm not big on labels, right? I hesitate to say even light worker or empath, because along with that comes the egoic attachment of, oh, I've got something to be proud of, right? I've got something more than you do. I'm not big on that. So it is what it is. There is a need to understand who you are and how you operate. And so understanding if you are just sensitive versus both sensitive and empath can be very helpful in understanding who you are and what you need. And as part of the path of healing and growth and stepping into your purpose, who you are and what you need is extremely important to identify so that you can nurture yourself, which also means nurture your gifts and your passion and your purpose. So as you heal and become whole again, your gifts come online. Underneath, hidden behind all of that trauma, that stuffing down of who we were and what we needed, is the hiding potential, the gifts that you were made with. You are perfectly imperfect for your purpose, which means you have a purpose, you have gifts, there is something here for you to do. And so understanding who you are and what you need is a critical step in being able to flourish and thrive and share your gifts with the world, which is what you were made to do. Right? So what is the difference between an empath and a sensitive? So an empath essentially absorbs subtle energy from other people and environments. So it can be a place just as much as a person. We absorb it into our bodies, right? So as a highly sensitive person and an empath, they are not mutually exclusive. One can be both or just one or the other. Right? Most empaths are sensitive, right? There's high sensitivity that can be separate from being empath, right? Being an empath. There is also a difference between being empathetic and being an empath. It is a a spectrum, right? So at one end, we have narcissist. At the other end, we have high empath. Then we have sensitive. Then we have empathic. Then we get into the other side that we don't need to discuss today, right? So a true empath is a person who is sensitive and highly aware of others' feelings around them to the point of taking on their pain and agonies as if they were their own. That is a quote by board-certified psychiatrist Gonzalez Barrios. And there's also another psychologist, Elaine Aron, who developed a concept of a highly sensitive person, or the HSP scale. There is a test that you can take. I was an 8 out of 10 on the HSP scale. So that's pretty extreme sensitivity. Psychologist Elaine Aron estimates 15 to 20% of the population is highly sensitive. Now, another study suggests that only 1 to 2% of the population are empaths. Now, there is not enough definition around what is an empath. There is not enough scientific evidence or measurements to be able to determine whether or not that 1 to 2% estimation is accurate. So we really want to be careful about quoting numbers or quoting things that we hear and are not certain where they came from or how they're qualified. Now, I am in a psychology master's, and so as someone who studies scholarly research, it is important. It is very important for us, our community, to be absolutely certain in the things that we restate or quote or parrot. We don't want to just take something off of social media and call it truth just because somebody said it, right? We really want to be careful. And so I have an extreme need for integrity. That's one of my trauma responses, is do no wrong, right? So making sure that we only offer information, or at least qualify the information that we offer as best we can, to be certain that we are repeating truth, right? So again, empaths are on a spectrum, narcissists at one end, empath at the other. Highly sensitive would be shortly or next to highly empathic, right? Highly empathic in the middle, sensitive, empath on the end. I want to clarify that, okay? So highly sensitive people are typically introverts, but empaths can be both introvert and extrovert, and or. So you can be an extroverted empath, or you can also be an introverted empath, whereas sensitives are usually mostly introverted. I like to say I'm an extroverted introvert empath. So there's a spectrum there as well, right? As far as extrovert versus introvert, you can be very close to the middle and be 51% introverted, but you still need that social engagement and you enjoy it to some extreme or to some extent, right? So how would you define a empath or a sensitive? So highly sensitives share the characteristics of an empath, but they do not absorb the energy. That is the key differentiator. So we share all other characteristics. So we love nature, quiet environments. We desire to help others and have a rich inner life. I remember the day I was shocked to discover that not everyone felt things the way that I felt things, or to the extreme that I felt things, that not everyone has a rich inner life. Not everyone loves to ponder and contemplate and to sense and feel. And I like to feel like I'm, navigating the energies or the environments around us. Not all of us have, not everyone in the world has that desire or that opportunity. And so really it is a blessing to have such a rich inner life. We are sensitive to light, sound, smell, etc. All senses. For me, there is no sense that is not sensitive. We have an aversion to large groups, and we can take longer to wind down at the end of the day. That it's an emptying out that has to happen. Now, add to that, I am also a human design projector. So the amount of absorption that it happens is incredible. And so once we have absorbed all of these things, it takes us longer to cleanse and to empty out. So if you feel like it's difficult for you to wind down at the end of the day, definitely check out my cleansing video. Lots of different techniques and tips and tricks around how to do that. It is something that you have to consciously do, although it will happen over time. You will not completely empty out unless you have conscious intent and you are actively cultivating your energetic environment. Okay. Empaths can sense subtle energies, aka Shakti or prana, right? It is the life force energy that all beings and things are containing and moving through. And so it is available at all times. Therefore, if we are open like a sponge, it is going to come in, depending on how we protect and approach things, right? So we're actually absorbing it. It literally is coming into our body, right? If you look at the electromagnetic field of a person, right, it looks like a torus field. The energy is moving in, up and down and all around us all the time. And that can expand depending on the technique of the person, depending on whether or not they understand how to use their energy, whether or not they're consciously controlling it. Maybe they're too open and their auric field is huge, or maybe they're too fearful and protected. It can be smaller. Usually it's no less than 6 feet, which I find interesting when they tell us to stay 6 feet apart. But the most they've been able to measure is 20 feet. And that was because the instrument was limited to a 20-foot measurement. So there really is no telling how big our subtle energies can go. So you can imagine, if you're in a crowd of people, how many different energies you are absorbing and working through. We literally experience the energy around us, including emotion and physical sensations of others. I get almost a sick turnover feeling when my kids get sick. If I see like a scrape, or really anybody, if I see a scrape or if I see blood, my whole body convulses, not convulses, but it turns over. There's kind of like a turning over is the best term I can use. But it's kind of like an I feel sick feeling. My body literally feels what they are feeling. We energetically internalize the feelings of the pain of others. Many times it can be difficult to discern, is that mine or is that theirs? When we get to sort of the checklist of how to identify whether or not you are an empath, if you do identify as an empath and you're not aware of it prior to this, you certainly want to understand how to start cleansing your energy, how to discern what is yours and what is not, what to do with the energy if it's not yours versus what to do with it when it is yours. Understanding how to process energy and emotions is going to be really critical for you. Life will feel out of control until you learn how to do this. Okay. Yes, have difficulty distinguishing. We can have profound spiritual and intuitive experiences, not just with energies or with people or with environments, but also with animals and with nature. I love when I walk past my plant and I'm like, I hear the fact that they are thirsty, right? And my Claire is not necessarily an audible hearing, but it's a knowing, a sensing, a feeling of my plants need water. And they just told me. So it's kind of fun. Types of empaths, I will not claim to be an expert on this. This is something I just felt that was necessary to share with the video, since there are types of empaths. I want to say it's Dr. Judith Orloff that developed the descriptions of the types of empaths, as well as the empath test that I'm about to share with you. So credit to her for that. So I'll just briefly run through these. There is a physical empath, which is the one that absorbs, and this is the most common that I've heard of. We absorb the energy through our body. You can be an emotional empath, also picking up on the emotions of others. You can be an intuitive empath, sense that unspoken thing that people don't quite understand what's going on. This is also closely linked with the emotional empath. I personally resonate with those first three, as well as a few of the others. So I don't think that these are mutually exclusive, that you can also experience multiple senses or multiple aspects of being an empath, if you will. Number 4 is dreams, where you receive intuitive information in dreams. Number 5 is plants. Like I said, the plants will tell you when they're thirsty. You may feel the need of the plant or connect with the essence of the plant. And one woman speaks to trees. That's not something that I will claim, but that is something I have heard of. Number 6, an earth empath is defined as being attuned to what's going on with the earth itself, as well as the universe, which is interesting. I have not heard of this before I looked up this list. And then number 7, an animal empath, which my daughter very much is an animal whisperer. So I know that they can have that strong connection and empathic abilities as well. So, like I said, Dr. Judith Orloff developed an empath test. So I'm going to run through 20 different questions. And if you answer yes to 15 or more, then you are likely an empath. So number one, I have been labeled as overly sensitive, shy, or introverted. Number two, I frequently get overwhelmed and anxious. Number three, I do not like arguments or yelling. It makes me feel ill. Number four, I often feel like I don't fit in. Number five, I am drained by crowds and need alone time to revive myself. Number six, overstimulated by noises, odors, or nonstop talkers. Number seven, I have chemical sensitivity and cannot tolerate scratchy clothes. Number eight, I prefer taking my own car places so I can leave early if I need to. Number nine, I overeat to cope with stress. Number 10, I'm afraid of becoming suffocated by intimate relationships. Number 11, startle easily. That's a big one for me. Number 12, I react strongly to caffeine or medications. Number 13, I have a low pain threshold. Number 14, I tend to socially isolate. Number 15, I absorb other people's stress, emotions, and symptoms. Number 16, I am overwhelmed by multitasking and prefer to do one thing at a time. Number 17, I replenish myself in nature. Number 18, I need a long time to recuperate after being with difficult people or energy vampires. Number 19, I feel better in small cities or in the country rather than large cities. And number 20, I do prefer one-to-one interactions over small groups rather than large gatherings, excuse me. So welcome to the club. If you answered yes to 15 or more of those questions, then you likely are an empath. Now, I will say it's interesting as I read this list because there are a few things on here that, being an expert in the trauma healing realm, I notice those are trauma responses as well. So things like feeling overwhelmed or anxious, needing a lot of alone time, overeating when you need to cope with stress, startling easy, social isolation, needing a lot of time to replenish. A lot of those are also connected to what's called complex trauma. If you did not feel safe, seen, heard, cared for, or loved for an extended period of time, likely in childhood, but any point in your life, then you have experienced something called complex trauma. Trauma is housed in the body. That's why talk therapy doesn't necessarily resolve the issue completely. It can help to some extent, but if you're not doing some sort of somatic therapy, then it will remain in the body and you will struggle with it. It'll feel like a glass ceiling that you can't quite break through. You'll feel like, I know what I need to do, but my subconscious won't let me do it. I can't seem to move past these blocks. And so know that high sensitivity and empathy are also considered trauma responses. That when we are in this unsafe environment, our brain is learning to navigate the world and figure out who's here, who do I need to become to stay safe in this environment? How do I anticipate all of these potential problems? How do I keep things under control? There's a sense of hypervigilance that is created in all of this, and you will experience some of these things to a greater extreme than you have to after you heal. So if you have experienced some sort of complex trauma, which most of the world has, we all felt unsafe for an extended period of time due to COVID. We need to learn how to process this. There is somatic therapies like brain spotting that I do, or something called EMDR, both used in traditional psychological settings for healing trauma. It does work. That's why I got certified, because it worked for me. And I want people to know that you don't have to live this life that forces you to socially isolate. You don't have to feel such extreme levels of sensitivity that it can be, I don't want to say diminished, because we don't want this to go away. It actually is a superpower to be able to sense what other people need, to be able to be a healer. I mean, that my sensitivity is profoundly powerful when it comes to the healing sessions that profoundly was amplified there. It's profoundly powerful in the healing sessions that I offer my clients. And the response is like, holy crap, are you, what are you doing to me? Right. It's really not that uncommon for someone who is highly sensitive or highly empathic to be able to tap into and tune into what is the root cause of the weed here, and let's pull that weed, right? So point being, highly sensitive and highly empathic are a superpower. They are amazingly awesome, but if it is debilitating, if it keeps you from living your life, then there is trauma healing available for you so that it is manageable, right? I don't want to say it's diminished, but it is reduced in the painful aspects, but still thrives in the healthy and helpful aspects. I think that's a good way to say it, is we separate the pain and the traumas and the somatic triggers, the somatic flashbacks. So if you've ever been in a situation, let's say you're, in a group of people, you're at a party, something of that nature, your nervous system is already so fried and so tired from the hypervigilance that you live in because you have not healed your trauma, that you're not able to handle the party. But when you heal the trauma, you relieve your body of having to manage that trauma. It relieves the energy for healing. Your nervous system will calm down. Your fight, flight, fawn, or freeze mechanisms will be turned off more often than not. So you will not need to hypervigilantly live through your life or white knuckle through life anymore. You don't have to control everything. You don't have to fix everybody's problems. You don't have to feel responsible for how everybody else feels. You don't have to feel how they're feeling. You don't have to feel their discomfort and take responsibility for it anymore. That allows your nervous system to heal so that you can tolerate more of these things. You become less sensitive to the detrimental aspects of sensitivity, and yet you remain powerful and in tune and connected enough to be able to help heal. And this, what it does is when you relieve these traumas up and out of your body, what happened was the traumas were being pressed down into the body, pressing down who you are, who you were made to be, and what you're here to do, your life purpose, your gifts. There is something really unique and special about you, and that has been masked or hidden underneath all of these other things that you've had to manage. And so as you relieve your body of that, you pull this up and out, or the body rather pushes it up and out, then you come online, you start to shine, you're willing to be seen, you enjoy being seen, even though I can still feel your discomfort at my shining bright. I'm okay with that. I don't mind anymore. I can feel it. I can feel it enough to say that's a gift and I can help you heal it because I can sense it for you if you want. But if not, that's not my problem anymore. And I'm really okay with having a boundary that says, thank you, no, thank you. I'm going to go my own way now. Okay. So I love you guys. I absolutely love this work. If you can't tell, I'm super passionate about helping these beautifully strong, powerful beings who are made to do something super important here on planet Earth, helping you heal so that you can step into your purpose and manifest abundance. And if there is any kind of trigger around money or abundance, when I say manifest abundance, notice that is an indication there is something that can be healed there. You deserve wealth beyond your wildest dreams because you are an aspect of the divine. You are a fractal of God, source, divine, creator, universe. There is an abundance available to everyone. There is no need to feel guilty about wanting to have abundance because we need you to be abundant and help create heaven on earth with that abundance. That we need new systems of every kind in every aspect, in every arena of our daily life, every food system, every medical system, government, architecture, all of it. In your purpose doesn't mean you have to be a healer or a card reader. You can be the new earth architect and create buildings that are actually healthy for us. Let the light in, bring in fresh air, bring in biophilic design so that there are trees and nature growing in our environment. Imagine how beautiful life will be when we start creating what we were meant to create. And the abundance that comes from being in your purpose is there to serve as a catalyst and a support mechanism for the new earth. So we have to learn to embrace abundance, because this is part of our path. You deserve to have your needs met. You deserve to realize your dreams. You deserve to be wealthy beyond your wildest dreams. You deserve to heal. You deserve to be whole and complete. And know that the divine wants this for you. You are literally like the light that shines through a prism and looks like a rainbow. You are one ray of that rainbow. You are one aspect. You are one fractal of the divine. I am the divine expressing as Rebecca. How could I believe that if I am the divine, that I don't have access to all of the abundance and wealth and riches and health and wholeness and creativity and expression and freedom that exist? Because what made that made me. And we are connected. We are one. You get to live that truth. So I am calling all sensitives and all empaths, join us on the New Earth Construction team, because you are important and the world needs a gift that only you can offer. And with that, I will close. I love you guys. You are so, so beautiful. Let your light shine. Whatever path you feel is right for you, you will know. Listen to yourself, trust yourself, but come alive. The time is now. All right. I love you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. If there's anybody that you think could benefit from this video, do them the gift and the honor of sharing this video so that we can help wake more and more up every day. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one.